Europe is making its biggest bet yet, a continent-wide transformation powered by historic investment. Over 900 billion euros, nearly $1 trillion, are being funneled into infrastructure by 2030. That's more than the GDP of the Netherlands and rivals the scale of the US Inflation Reduction Act. This isn't just a recovery plan, it's a race to lead in green energy, AI megafactories, digital sovereignty, and military-grade transport, while the world's eyes are on Europe's next move. The urgency is real. Global competition is fierce, and Europe's choices now will shape its economic and strategic future for decades. For investors, innovators, and policymakers worldwide, this is a moment packed with both opportunity and risk. Europe's infrastructure reboot could redefine its place in global finance, technology, and geopolitics. The European Union's 2024 to 2029 agenda is built around 4 strategic pillars: boosting competitiveness, building climate resilience, achieving digital leadership, and securing strategic autonomy. These priorities are designed to future-proof the continent in a rapidly changing world. To deliver on these ambitions, the EU is deploying a suite of powerful financial tools. Next Generation EU, the Recovery and Resilience Facility, InvestEU, and the Innovation Fund. These mechanisms channel public and private capital into transformative projects. For example, Next Generation EU is the largest stimulus package in EU history, supporting everything from green energy to digital infrastructure. The Recovery and Resilience Facility alone accounts for over 700 billion euros in grants and loans. Private sector involvement is crucial. Many projects are co-financed with banks, tech companies, and energy firms, multiplying the impact of EU funds. For instance, a recent solar park in Spain was built with both EU and private investment, now powering thousands of homes. But challenges remain. Some member states face delays due to complex regulations, slow permitting, or political disagreements over spending priorities. Transparency and accountability are under constant scrutiny. Despite these hurdles, progress is visible. By May 2025, over 315 billion euros, about $340 billion, had already reached projects on the ground, from high-speed rail in Italy to digital skills training in Eastern Europe. The clock is ticking. All remaining funds must be implemented before 2026, a race against time, bureaucracy, and local bottlenecks. The outcome will shape Europe's economic and technological future for decades. Europe's digital infrastructure revolution is bold, but progress is uneven across the continent. Some regions lead in connectivity, while others lag behind, creating a digital divide that impacts millions. The EU aims for full 5G rollout, edge computing, and digital public services by 2030. But achieving this means overcoming infrastructure gaps and ensuring every citizen has access to high-speed internet. Cybersecurity is now a top priority. As digital networks expand, so do threats, making robust protection essential for both businesses and individuals. InvestAI is targeting 200 billion euros, about $214 billion in AI-related investments, fueling the construction of advanced AI centers and research hubs. 20 billion euros, roughly $21 billion, are allocated for 5 AI gigafactories, each supporting advanced model training with over 100,000 chips. These facilities are at the heart of Europe's push for digital sovereignty. The Cloud and AI Development Act will triple data center capacity, all powered by green energy and strict efficiency standards, making Europe a leader in sustainable digital infrastructure. For citizens and businesses, this means faster connections, smarter services, and new opportunities, but also the need to adapt to rapid technological change. International competition is fierce. Europe is racing against the US and China to secure its place as a digital powerhouse with digital sovereignty at stake. This is digital infrastructure not just as an engine of innovation, but as a core national interest, shaping Europe's future in a connected world. Climate policy in Europe is now industrial strategy. The EU is betting big on a green industrial revolution, one that aims to transform not just energy, but the entire economic engine of the continent. The Clean Industrial Deal is at the heart of this push. Its goal, decarbonize EU industry while keeping Europe competitive on the world stage. Investment channels include the Innovation Fund, InvestEU, and a wave of green bonds. Over 100 billion euros, about $107 billion, are being deployed through the Innovation Fund, supporting next-generation technologies like green hydrogen, carbon capture, and advanced battery storage. Up to 50 billion euros, about $53 billion, are flowing via amendments to InvestEU, targeting clean manufacturing, circular economy projects, and the scaling of renewable energy. Meanwhile, the EU has issued more than 68 billion euros, about $73 billion, in green bonds, financing decarbonization and adaptation projects across member states. These bonds are helping fund everything from energy-efficient buildings to sustainable transport. The impact is significant. These investments are expected to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 55 million tons annually, about 1.5% of the EU's total. They're also projected to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs in clean tech, engineering, and construction. Innovation is central. Europe is investing in research hubs, pilot plants, and digital tools to accelerate breakthroughs in energy storage, smart grids, and low-carbon materials. But the transition isn't without debate. Critics argue the pace of decarbonization is too slow to meet climate targets, while others warn of job losses in traditional industries and the risk of higher energy costs. The EU's green industrial revolution is a high-stakes experiment, one that could set a global standard or expose the limits of policy-driven transformation. The world is watching to see if Europe can deliver on its promise. The TEN-T transport network is the backbone of Europe's connectivity, linking cities, ports, and borders across the continent. It's the most ambitious infrastructure plan in the EU's history, designed to unify the region both economically and strategically. By 2030, the EU aims to fully connect its core road, rail, port, and air corridors, spanning thousands of kilometers and crossing multiple national borders. The total investment? 866 billion euros, about $925 billion. These projects are not just about speed, they're about seamless trade, economic growth, and resilience. But there's a strategic twist. This infrastructure is being reimagined as dual use, serving both civilian needs and military mobility. In a world of rising geopolitical tensions, the ability to rapidly move people, goods, and even troops across borders is now a matter of security as well as commerce. The dual-use concept means railways, bridges, and tunnels must be built to handle both commercial freight and heavy military equipment. This shift is driving new standards in construction, logistics, and cross-border coordination, making Europe's infrastructure a pillar of collective defense. Over 500 transport projects have been prioritized for urgent military mobility upgrades. These include new rail links, expanded highways, and upgraded ports, ensuring that Europe can respond quickly to crises, whether natural or man-made. Germany, for example, is investing 10.5 billion euros, about $11.2 billion, in rail upgrades in 2025 alone. Nearly half its entire transport budget is dedicated to making its network faster, stronger, and more secure. New technologies are transforming transport. Smart logistics, digital traffic management, and green propulsion systems are being integrated into these projects. The result? A network that's not only faster and safer but also more sustainable and future-proof, positioning Europe as a global leader in strategic infrastructure. Ambition is clear, so is the funding. But execution? That's still a challenge across every level. Only 48% of EU digital infrastructure targets show strong progress, while many projects face slowdowns from regulatory fragmentation and endless paperwork. Political disagreements between member states can stall cross-border projects for years. For example, high-speed rail links between countries have been delayed by disputes over routes and funding. Local resistance is another hurdle. Residents sometimes protest new infrastructure, worried about environmental impact or disruption to their communities. Many municipalities lack the capacity to deliver large-scale projects, and about half of cities are dissatisfied with past urban transport investments. Coordinating across 27 member states adds layers of complexity. Even when funding is available, aligning national priorities and timelines is a major challenge. Much of the $970 billion remains undistributed or stuck in pipeline delays, waiting for consensus, permits, or local buy-in. Investors are watching Europe closely as the continent transforms its infrastructure and economy. The scale of opportunity is unprecedented. Green bonds and ESG ETFs remain at the forefront, offering exposure to climate-linked projects with measurable impact. But that's just the start. Digital infrastructure ETFs are gaining traction, fueled by investments in data centers, telecoms, and AI compute facilities. Emerging sectors like quantum computing, cybersecurity, and battery technology are attracting new capital as the EU pushes for tech sovereignty. Logistics and transport infrastructure are also evolving. Dual-use railways, ports, and highways are now investable as defense and civilian needs converge. Innovation funds such as the EU Innovation Fund and InvestEU are channeling billions into clean tech, advanced manufacturing, and sustainable mobility. Yet, risks remain. Regulatory fragmentation, project delays, and shifting political winds can impact returns. Due diligence is critical. Global investors, from pension funds to sovereign wealth, are increasing allocations to the EU, drawn by its stability, innovation, and long-term vision. Local and municipal co-funding is also on the rise, with cities and towns partnering with private capital to accelerate projects on the ground. For investors, the EU's infrastructure reboot is a landscape of both opportunity and complexity, demanding strategic insight and a long-term perspective. This is more than a building spree. Europe is laying the groundwork for a new kind of economy, one that is green, digital, and resilient for generations to come. The vision stretches far beyond today's projects, aiming to set global standards for sustainable growth and technological leadership. Green by design, Europe is investing in renewable energy, eco-friendly cities, and climate-smart infrastructure to lead the world in environmental innovation. Digital by necessity, smart infrastructure, AI-powered services, and secure data networks are becoming the backbone of daily life and economic growth. Strategic by function, every investment is designed to strengthen Europe's autonomy, security, and ability to adapt in a rapidly changing world. The $970 billion commitment is both a signal of urgency and a bet on Europe's future. But the real test will be in how these ambitions are realized. Can Europe turn vision into action and action into lasting impact? The pace and effectiveness of deployment will determine whether Europe leapfrogs ahead as a global leader or faces setbacks from bureaucracy, local resistance, or shifting global dynamics. The outcome is not guaranteed. Public engagement will be crucial. Citizens, businesses, and local governments all have a stake in shaping how these investments transform their communities. Your voice and participation matter. What questions do you have about Europe's infrastructure reboot? Which opportunities or risks stand out to you? Join the conversation, drop a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of infrastructure, investing, and global strategy.